speak to a lot of people at once.
Yeah. No, I love that. What were you saying?
Yeah, and just making it fun.
Yeah.
Like this stuff's not fun to talk about. It sucks. These are
Insurance can be
things
super boring.
Yeah, these are things these guys get worried about. Payments, DOT violations, regulations problems, safer, not having updated problems on their actual DOT numbers, just things that they just push to the side and don't want to think about, and that's when it all kind of catches up to them. So just a way to make them more aware of it would help them out.
Welcome. So today we have our commercial auto team on the podcast today. This is episode number 37. Before we get started, before we go into a couple cool things we're going to be talking about today, we are going to read a review like we always do. So from Julie P., she said, Warren Mounts Agency was amazing to deal with. I spoke with Michaela to help us with the motorcycle insurance. She was helpful, professional, knowledgeable. Give them a call. You will not be disappointed. Thank you, Julie P. If you guys have not checked us out, we have our podcast, Yellow Color Glasses. We also have our agency with Warren Mounts Agency and CJ Insurance Group. So if you guys have not checked out our reviews, please go do so. We are
we're almost at 100.
We're almost at 100. So, thank you for that, Julie. That was awesome. Reviews go a long ways in our industry, so appreciate that. Okay, without further ado, Caleb Shepard, Jannie Williamson, welcome, guys. I know we've been on here before, and today's going to be a cool topic. We're going to be discussing all commercial auto and transportation insurance across the country. So, before we get started, let's do a quick introduction and everybody's roles and what your guys' day-to-day look like. So, Caleb, let's start with you, buddy.
So my day-to-day is typically just kind of managing a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So I kind of just look over kind of what processes are going on, helping out with renewals when I can, servicing like current and existing and new clients, just trying to get them all up to date and caught up with everything they need. And then obviously just helping new and existing guys get some better insurance.
Okay.
I mean, that's why we're all here. So I kind of help them and guide them on the right path and, give them the knowledge and experience they need to obviously make sure they're doing things right, especially in their industry, because it can get a little bit complicated sometimes for them. So I'm just pretty much helping out as much as I can. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And Caleb, how long have you been doing this for? Coming up on 3 years?
Yeah. No.
No? Okay.
About a year and 2 months now. So.
Okay. Yeah. But you've been in insurance for a while now.
Yeah.
You've been in insurance,
yeah, I've been in insurance since I was 15.
Okay. So it's been a little bit.
Yeah. About 6 years. So.
Okay, cool. Jannie, what's your day-to-day look like and what's your role in all of the commercial auto department that we have?
All the stuff. Yeah, so I've been in insurance for a few years now, but mostly on the home and auto side.
Okay.
So I'm making a shift into commercial auto, which I'm really excited about. But there's a lot of crossover. I am going to be tag teaming with Caleb. Basically, we're going to be working very closely together. I'm going to be the point of contact for all of our customers, trying to make sure that if there are any issues that they're experiencing, whether that's billing issues or if they have an upcoming renewal, and they want us to shop them around, that's going to be me. So if you get a phone call, it's probably going to be my voice on the other end of the line. My job is just to make sure that everything is being handled and that it's being handled in an efficient way, and then just keeping everybody happy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, and I do believe that, and I know this is what we all preach here at the office is, insurance is really only as good as the agent, right?
100%.
I mean, insurance is, you can get insurance everywhere, so I think that's why we want to come on here is talk about what we offer for all of our clients and how we can serve you guys. I know you're doing, Caleb, majority of the sales, right?
Yep.
You're the one on the phones and helping these guys get the best rates. And then Jannie, I mean, that's a great, you got to have the quotes, you got to have the helping people out on the front end, but that's where it starts, right? And then Jannie kicks in and she takes care of all the back end stuff. So if anybody's listening to this, like that's literally the hardest part is keeping things where they need to be at from an efficiency standpoint. So, okay, well, do we want to talk a little bit about why we're doing this? I know we're doing it for our current clients. We are going to be opening up a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, do we want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah.
And kind of what your guys' thoughts were on that?
Yeah, so we kind of just there's always a lot of disconnect with these guys when they're driving, but like a lot of these guys, their main point of contact and what they use is Facebook. So just having a way we can reach out to people and just kind of giving them a little bit more than what we feel like most agents do, with like knowledge and experience, and just being that person they can go to, just even beyond insurance, just helping them and making them a little bit smarter in the industry, while also just kind of having their back on a lot of things too. I can't tell how many people we talk to on a daily basis that are just confused about what they're doing. They're getting canceled with their insurance. They don't really know who to go to, and we want to be that kind of one-stop shop of, we've always said, is just being that one place that they can go to for anything, even outside of insurance. So
yeah. And I think, it's a place to kind of create a community too. These truckers are all over the United States. And it's a way to connect everybody, not just with us, but with each other. And everybody sharing information and what they know. It's only going to help us and them. It's going to help us serve them better. If we're starting to hear that there's a common thing that people need to know, well, we can put a reel out about that, or we can put an informational piece about that that is going to speak to a lot of people at once.
No, I love that. What were you saying?
Yeah, and just making it fun. Like this stuff's not fun to talk about. It sucks. These are things
super boring.
These are things these guys get worried about. Payments, DOT violations, regulations problems, safer, not having updated problems on their actual DOT numbers. Just things that they just push to the side and don't want to think about, and that's when it all kind of catches up to them. So just a way to make them more aware of it would help them out.
And I think as well, I think this will be really cool because we're all in all different states, right? Like it's not like these, you guys are coming into our office and meeting us and seeing who we are, and I feel like that's a cool thing as well. Is like if we can build relationships with you guys. Anybody who's listening from a commercial auto standpoint, getting to know Caleb, right? Getting to see his face, understanding what he likes and who he is. And same thing with Jannie. I mean, I feel like that goes a long ways as well, right? Because this is one of the biggest, their insurance is some of their biggest expenses that they have as a company, right? So they want to make sure who they're dealing with they like and they can trust. Exactly.
Because there is that disconnect there. I mean, especially think about talking to somebody over the phone without ever seeing their face or really ever really knowing them.
Right.
So a place where they can get even among other members of the whole community, just kind of a place to kind of converge and just talk about stuff. So.
I love that. No, I think that's going to be really cool. And hopefully it's helpful for anybody who's listening, and sees it, because I think I know if I'm spending that kind of money on the insurance and doing all these things, like I want to be able to know who I'm dealing with from a personal base too. So, that's great. So we've talked about our roles. What states are we in? So where can we help anybody out from an insurance standpoint?
I mean, I really don't know what states we don't write in. I mean, we're in 38 out of 50 states.
Yeah, I think we're in 33 states to be exact.
Okay, 33.
So really, majority of those states, I mean, we could probably name the states that we're not in.
I'd say if you started in Missouri, walk northeast, south, or west, we're probably going to be in those states. I really don't know where we don't write.
And the goal there would be, at some point in time, we'll be all 50, right? That's our plan. But 33 states right now. Majority, I would say Midwest. So if anybody's in the Midwest, that's where we're going to be at majority of the time. We'll continue to expand out, right? I think that's a good idea. So. Okay, so insurance, let's talk about just commercial auto in general. So that's a broad department. Let's talk a little bit more on the exact specific niches on what we're doing here at this office.
I feel like everybody kind of, when they jump straight to trucking, they think semis.
Okay.
Obviously I would too if I didn't know anything either. But trucking covers a huge, broad field. Like you've got people that work in quarries, people that do hot shot trucking, refrigerated goods, box truck, home delivery, all these different types of businesses that fall under commercial auto that I feel like people just kind of need to understand.
Okay.
Because I think whenever you're a small business, or even if you're just doing stuff locally, you don't really ever think of commercial auto because, I'm not driving a semi, so I'm not really doing trucking.
Okay.
But even like lawn tree services, or even just small local gravel delivery people. They're using large commercial-sized trucks to conduct their business, and it's just getting that knowledge out there that, that is what you guys need, and having it nice under, a lot of commercial packages can actually help them out.
Okay.
Make it a little bit simpler and easier for them, so.
For sure. So let's say I had a truck, let's say I had a semi that I need to insure. I know it's not just about commercial auto, but what would that process look like? Like, let's say you call me, I need the insurance, you're going to write it, I'm assuming, then what's the back end stuff look like? Like, what does that whole process look like with you guys?
In terms of?
The whole process of getting the quote to the back end for me servicing, like if I ever need to remove a truck, add a truck, like what that would look like from a renewal standpoint. Who do I talk to, and kind of what is your guys' roles? And I know we kind of went through your roles a little bit, but what does that actual process look like?
So, like, if it's to start off with somebody, you know, I want to be there and help give them the knowledge they need and what I know is going to be best for them. I mean, I will stand by everybody and tell them exactly what they're going to need, not what I think they need or what the law says they need. I'm going to give them what I know they're going to have. So usually $1 million in liability, you know, 100,000 in cargo. And then also I literally never write anything without physical damage, because that's obviously when you're driving large trucks or doing whatever type of business you need to do. You know, when your truck's your main source of business and it's your main source of income,
that's your main revenue.
You better have something on it to make sure you're covered.
Right.
So just giving them that knowledge, and then also just helping them if they are someone getting out new into trucking and they haven't even started in the business yet. I actually try to help them even just getting their DOT number set up or establish filings and things like that. These guys don't know that. They just think you get a number, they go along with it, they get insurance, and they're good. But there's a lot of systems and processes that no one really tells them about. Particularly, you know, some other insurance companies, they just want to write the insurance and they don't want to give them the knowledge that they need. And then, you know, obviously once we help them out and get them closed, we send them over to Jannie to just continue that process even further and helping them throughout the rest of their time in their business.
So let's take a step back. So let's say my DOT is filed. I got all my filings done, right? Let's just, in a normal scenario here, I call you, Caleb. You're going to go through and what? Shop all my rates. I mean, so we're a brokerage here, so we have a bunch of different carriers. So you're going to go through, shop all of our carriers that we have and find the best rate, and you're going to go through and get what you would recommend from a professional recommendation on the type of coverages for their specific needs. That's what you're going to do, right? Yeah,
because a lot of these guys, you know, they start off with Progressive or like some of these smaller companies when they're first getting started out. So we want to be that first person that they can go to be like, where else can you guys take me? But we shop 50 or 60 different companies and find them some better insurance rates. And
so we'll do that, and then you're going to go through all the coverages with them, explain what they have, put it into English for them. If they want to go ahead and move forward with it, what does the next step look like? Like, Jannie, does that come in where you come in and take place? What does that look like?
Yeah, so once Caleb issues the policy, he introduces me as the point of contact. From that point on, if you need to add a vehicle, remove a vehicle, add a driver, I'm going to be the person that you call. But at the point that we issue your policy, I will send certificates of insurance to all of the main providers that need to have them. So you're already set up.
So you guys will do all that for them.
We do all of that for you.
I like what I tell everybody is I want to make it as a hands-off experience as possible.
Yeah, and that's our goal between the two of us, to make sure. I mean, Caleb's going to make sure that you understand what you're paying for and how to use it. Because if you're paying for this policy, like you need to understand what, and he's so good at explaining that. My job is to make sure that everything runs smoothly from that point forward. So anytime you need to make a change, anytime you need a certificate of insurance emailed to another provider, you just email me, let me know, and I will get that out ASAP. And then when your renewal time comes around, so a year later, because we're a broker, same process. Even if your renewal looks amazing, let's say your premium has gone down if you're with Progressive, it's gone down. We're still going to shop you through all of our available companies because we want to make sure that you are getting the absolute best possible rate. And that's just one of the advantages that you have when you're working with a broker like us.
You know, I try to make it I probably was talking this with Jannie, it's like we make it a goal that, you know, we don't want you to be with Progressive. Progressive's great and all, they're great for starting off, but there's a lot better companies out there that can definitely benefit these guys, and you know, you're
not necessarily better, but I think
situations.
Yes, there are different companies that are better for different types of trucking. So,
I mean,
we don't want them to only have one option available to them.
You know, that process, you know, when it comes to a renewal standpoint, that's the cool thing about having a broker, right? Is we have a lot of different options.
You have choices all the time, whether it's, a new policy or your renewal, you always have options.
And Caleb, I actually do want to, I want to keep hitting on this. I have a question for you. So what are some do's and don'ts with a company? Okay, like let's say you're a brand new trucking company, right? What are some do's and don'ts that you really want to kind of be on the lookout for, right? From a growth standpoint, I know we've talked about before where some of these guys are growing too quickly, and that the insurance companies don't like them. Inspections, things like that. Like, what are some things that you could give us some advice on for that?
So do's is just normal positive growth.
Okay. And what does that mean?
So like, a lot of people, I get it, the money's awesome and everything, and I understand people want to really get their business going and expand as fast as possible, but to insurance companies, that's a big no-no because that's a huge risk for them.
Why is that?
Just because the more drivers you have, the more trucks that are on the road, you just have a higher chance of having people get into accidents.
So in the experience of the business, I'm assuming if it hasn't been around a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they really like positive growth, but at a slow pace.
Okay.
So keeping it about 2 trucks per 6 months is a really good one.
Okay.
So if you're starting off your policy and you got your truck on there, one other truck in those first 6 months, and then another 2 trucks after those 6 months.
Okay.
So it's at least enough to, it still allows some wiggle room for people to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay.
But just obviously not to the point where you're going to start facing some issues on both ends.
Okay.
Because some companies will cancel you, right?
Yeah, so they'll fully flat out cancel you for.
Does that make it harder to get insurance down the road, like with another carrier then too?
Yep, yeah, it does, because you're going to have a lapse in coverage, and even with brokers, seeing that you got canceled, to them makes you a liability.
Brokers meaning like the guys where they're getting the loads from?
Yeah,
and
so
stuff?
what brokers are basically mitigators for carriers and shippers.
Okay.
So carriers being the truckers and shippers being the people that are actually sending cargo out that these guys have to haul. Well, when brokers see that you've had a lapse in coverage, you're coming up for cancellation, things like that, they're going to be less likely to work with you. And I like to say it like this. It's almost like, let's say you're in business for 3 years and you got canceled by a company and that showed and you didn't end up getting new insurance because it's a lot harder. That's like setting your DOT number back to day one. So now that there's a lapse, you've ran out of business, it's just a lot harder to get you insurance because you just had a major lapse in coverage, which is a big no-no for insurance companies. Kind of another thing is some people want to avoid getting inspections. A lot of people are scared of it. Inspections are super great. They can also be kind of tough. They give out violations. Inspections can kind of pop up issues with the trucks, which also turn into violations. So a lot of guys try to avoid it. But honestly, having a lot of inspections and having very little violations like ELD problems with the truck, things like that, just making sure you're getting routine maintenance and just keeping on top of inspections can actually give you a lot better rates in the following year.
Okay. So it sounds like your DOT number is almost like your credit score for your business.
Basically, yeah. So like 2 things that they're going to look at, big do's is stay in business as long as you can. I mean, obviously I know there's different situations, things happen. But just know that your first year is going to be tough, but after you hit that first year, it's only uphill from there.
Yeah.
Now, Jannie, whenever we get a new client on board, with the COIs, I'm assuming that's where we got to send these COIs to the brokers.
Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
right? So is that something you do, or is that
Yes.
something the client needs to do? What does that look like?
I will take care of all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we send them to the three main ones.
Yep.
And
Which
then
are the main ones? Do you know?
DAT, Assure Assist, and RMIS.
RMIS, okay.
Yep, so.
So I'll send them to all 3 of those
Okay.
just automatically. And then if you ever need me to send them to anybody else, then you just let
Just
me
a
know.
request.
Just a request through email, and we get those out really fast.
And what's nice about load boards, they're not brokers. Load boards are basically it's actually a one connect source for carriers and brokers. So brokers will use DAT and Assure Assist and RMIS to actually set out loads that people can come pick up. But what that allows, like whenever you send those out, that allows people to just brokers already have that on file.
Okay.
So it actually kind of lets them get started a little bit quicker because I know how the renewal time is. It's tough because now you got brokers and everyone alike asking for your COI, which is almost like a golden ticket to them. So
So that's a great, I'm glad we're talking about this. So that leads right into renewals on what I was going to talk to you about that. So when is an ideal, like when do we go through and start shopping these renewals? Like when is a good time? Like what's that time process, and how soon should these guys be reaching out, or how soon do you guys start shopping?
Yeah, well, ideally, I mean, we're starting to check for your renewal about 60 days out. It's not always available at that time, but that's when we start checking just to see if your carrier has produced your next year's renewal. And we reach out to you once that renewal pops up. We call to verify drivers, because sometimes that changes within a year, see if you have added or removed any vehicles. So once we verify those things, we start immediately shopping you through the rest of our carriers and just verifying that, yes, you do have the best coverage with your current carrier, or we have a better option for you, and then we present it to you and you make the call.
Okay.
Yeah. But we always want to get ahead of it. I mean, our goal is, if you want to ask, that's great, but our goal is to ask before you do.
For sure.
So,
so we kind of get ahead of the game there. And I'm assuming, right, if let's say we do switch carriers, like let's say a company has grown and it's almost like, okay, congratulations, like, your DOT score has gotten better, right, from an insurance standpoint. Now we can get you some better rates, even though maybe your current rate has actually gone down. But hey, we can get you with another company that specializes in this type of niche, this type of authority. How long they've had their authority, X, Y, and Z. If that switch is made, do you guys go ahead and send out everything up to the new carriers, new brokers again for the new policy as well, I'm assuming? And what about filings and things like that? Can we talk about on the filings? Is there anything to do with that?
So filings are typically going to be handled by your insurance carrier.
Okay.
But we'll follow up with you and just make sure that process is going smoothly. So we try to reach out to people honestly as soon as possible, because sometimes filings don't go the way you want them to. Sometimes they don't upload to their actual DOT number. Sometimes things get lost in translations. Things change on their DOT number. Things causing issues, which is why we try to get that stuff knocked out early so we can follow back up with you and help you with that day-to-day process, while also sitting out COIs and just making sure that whenever your renewal happens, it's going to be as smooth of a transition as possible for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be facing any issues, at least from a work standpoint.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you guys do everything for everybody, or that's the goal, to keep this as simple as possible.
Yeah, because I think the less they have to touch it and worry about it just makes it easier for them, and it just makes them a lot happier. So
well, that's why you want an agent.
Yeah.
That's because then that kind of goes back to our main thing: is insurance is as good as the agent you have,
Right.
because insurance you can get anywhere. There's all kinds of carriers out there that can do insurance, and let us handle the insurance and you guys handle the trucking.
Yeah, the agent simplifies everything for you. And if you have any questions, that's it's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We do all the stuff that you really don't want to do and don't want to be responsible for.
And I like to tell people too, even beyond insurance, I love helping them out with regulations. And those guys that some of these people, they're not too tech savvy.
Yeah.
So making changes to their DOT number, sending in new filings, sending in MCS 150 forms, BOC3 forms, MCS 150 forms, BMC 91X forms, helping them out, getting that stuff done and knocked out for them.
What are those forms? Can you elaborate on maybe two of them? Let's not even elaborate on all of them. Let's elaborate on two.
A lot of letters and numbers.
There's guys that they go out of business and they want to get back up and running, and so they don't really know where to start. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to mitigate that issue, but they want that DOT number that they had because that had all their years on it, showing that they were up and running.
Yeah.
So I help them get what is called an MCS 150 form, which is basically a biennial update form.
Okay.
So you're basically either making changes or updates to your DOT number, and one of those things being reactivating a revoked or lost authority. Secondly, you can make changes to your DOT number with that form, change your operating status, how many vehicles you have, which is something that Safer and insurance companies like, is when you're keeping up to date on that information on Safer, showing the amount of units you have, how many miles you drive per year, things like that just help insurance companies and even us get a little bit better idea about how to help you out. So that's kind of how I help people. And then you got your federal filings and your BMC 91X forms, which is basically just proof of insurance. Sometimes insurance companies don't want to do that, so we have to handle it all for you and get that all submitted in.
Yeah.
And then BOC3 agents, some guys don't even know what those are. But basically, BOC3 agents is who you assign to basically handle any legal documents in the event of a lawsuit or fail to load cargo or things like that while you're driving. So.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, Caleb. That's great.
Caleb knows his stuff.
Yeah, no, and Caleb, I know you've went through. So what course did you go through?
It's called the TRIP certification.
Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, so you've put a lot of time and effort into this, and it really comes out, man. So you're doing a great job, and Jannie, with your experience with dealing with people, and I mean, really anybody who gets to deal with Jannie is, I mean, they're in great hands. So when you combine the both of you guys, like I do believe that there's not anybody in the industry that can serve or can sell or can help people out in any better way than what we can. So of course we're biased, right? But
I mean, if you wanted to call us a dream team,
I would call you guys a dream team.
okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't say
Well, like golf,
but it's out
I
there.
would say, like, if you wanted
If you wanted to,
that would
it's
be
not us that's saying it, it's somebody else that's
somebody
saying it. You know, it's
else,
kind of
okay.
like how you guys have said certain things about me, and I never said it, but you guys said it.
No one said anything about you.
Yeah.
Never.
Okay, so that's really cool. So I do want to I do have one extra question. We're going to wrap this up here in about 2 or 3 minutes, but so in the time that we live in right now, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are coming up for sale. And I think we're starting to see this more, is trucking companies are selling their companies and people are just buying an established trucking company. So what does that look like? Is that anything different from a brand new DOT, right? Like let's say you had a trucking company, it's a 4 or 5 year company, maybe it's been around for 10 years, and I want to buy it. What does that look like?
What does that process look like? So, let's say I'm a buyer and I'm going to go buy something, or I'm going to acquire a new business. A lot of guys think I'm going to get all those trucks. I'm just going to go start running. I'm going to use their business name. But this last thing they think of is insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So what they come to find out is they didn't transfer the DOT number, which what that looks like is basically you go to the FMCSA and basically tell them, hey, this X person is giving me Y company. And I'm going to put it under my name.
Okay.
So that'd be step one, is getting that DOT number transferred over, because that is literally the bread and butter of trucking. So having that insurance history and those violations, inspections, those safety scores, everything is super important. Secondly, getting their lost runs. If you're buying a company, make sure you get their insurance history, because you're gonna find out it's gonna be kind of impossible to find some new insurance. And then from there, once everything's transferred over, it's in your name. I'll help you in submitting forms and making sure that once that transfer is done, that we can get that DOT and that MC number reactivated.
Okay.
It's very simple, honestly. It's just making sure you get all the paperwork and all those steps done.
Because if not, it's like opening up a brand new company, even though it's already you're kind of, that's the main goal, is you're buying an established company.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you do it at a proper steps.
And not only that, let's say you only bought 1 unit or 2 units, 100% we can find you insurance for that. You can start a DOT number, but why pay higher premiums for a trucking company that was already established?
Okay, that's good to know. Awesome. I think this has been really good. And I think we'll do this more, right? We're going to try and jump on more, and if there's things that come up, which I know there is, Jannie, with what you're doing, maybe there's ways that people can communicate with you better, that you can get things to them more efficiently, or how to help them faster, right? So I know efficiency and speed is a big deal in today's market. So no, that's great. Anything else you guys want to add?
I like to say we're 24/7. I say we are because I know we are, because even on the weekend you can rely on somebody, because we're always here for you. So.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll post this on our, like I said, we're gonna open up. I mean, our Facebook page is in the process of being open, so anybody who's seeing this, we're right now we're looking at trucking insurance experts. So we're going to add all of our clients onto there, and then what else? Anybody else that
they know that just needs the information or needs some help and just doesn't really know where they're at with their business, we'd love to help you out. So
we just like to be a resource.
Yeah. And maybe what we could do is, we'll try to maybe do these once a month or once every other month or whatever that might be, and maybe we'll get some topics from different companies and different trucking accounts and see if there's anything that they might need help with on maybe how to run their business more successful with lowering expenses and costs and X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, 100%. Love it.
Okay. Well, guys, this has been good. I think we're a little bit past time, about 8 minutes, but we're good. Okay, guys, so episode 37, yellow colored glasses.
Trucking edition.
Trucking edition. Caleb Shepard, Jannie Williamson, and your host, Am I the host?
You're the host.
Host Jake Warren. We're over now. Thank you guys.
Thanks.